Welcome to It Sybil. Hello, everyone. Hello. The gang's all here. Hey, Coy Malone, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Sybil, how you doing? How you
I'm
doing, Chris Paul? How you doing, Huggy Lowdown?
What up?
Okay, Coy. Okay, Coy. That's usually Sybil job. But how you doing there, Coy? What's the deal?
We can't curse, so I gotta throw gangs.
Yeah, throw gangs out. She cursing with symbols, Sybil.
let's try to hold on to our hand signals too, shall we? Hey, Chris Paul. Hey, Huggy Lowdown. Fresh off the road. How are you?
Good.
Back from the shy.
Chicago, where we ate all. Chris, I got diabetes.
It's that deep dish.
I got diabetes, baby.
How did you get diabetes, Hug? What was it that caused the diabetes? Did you get some Garrett's popcorn? Was that it? Was it some good old deep dish pizza or stuffed pizza?
It was deep dish stuff with the Garrett's popcorn in the Harold chicken. They put everything in that deep dish.
I didn't get any Garrett's popcorn. I flew into Midway. There's no Garrett's in there.
No, there isn't.
Not at all.
You're right.
I had to get that nuts on Clark.
Right.
Nuts on Clark.
That's the alternative. Yeah.
Am I missing something? I've never heard of this.
Holder on Clark.
Ask your young man about Garrett's popcorn.
I'll definitely ask.
Yeah.
They get upset because they have a Garrett's popcorn in Atlanta. I think at
in the airport.
Not the airport, at the mall.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if what is it? Phipps? What's your mall down there? They need
Phipps
security.
or Lennox.
Phipps, Lennox.
Yeah,
if it's north of Cab, then nobody's going there.
But they said it's different. It's not the same.
And Garrett's popcorn in DFW, it's Terminal B, by the way. But you have to be going somewhere. You can't just pull up to the airport and go into.
The Chicagoans said it's not the same elsewhere. It's only it tastes different.
Actually,
it hit different elsewhere. That's what they say.
Well, you know what? For me, it hits the spot when I'm traveling. So.
Right.
But there are more cultured Garrett aficionados than I, so I'm willing to accede to that. So how were the shows at Riddles? Did you guys have a good time? Good crowds?
We had a great time. Great crowds. David Williams was hosting. Shout out to Damon. Thanks for having us.
Shout out to the host liner, Damon Williams.
You're just saying that because he did 45 minutes after you got off stage. Is that what you're talking about?
Come on, man. That's disrespectful. He did more time than that.
But you guys said going there.
Damon is hilarious.
You knew that you wouldn't have to do a lot of time.
Right.
Yeah, but he was up there out of necessity, though. It turns out like the wait staff hadn't gotten all their money in yet.
Oh,
right. So in that case,
so he was business and comedy.
He's business and savvy. Damon. Yeah. Thank you, Damon, for having us, brother.
Yeah.
Nice. And the crowds were good?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Good. I went to a comedy club for the first time in a while. I saw David A. Arnold.
Had to be somebody you like, Sybil.
I masked up and when you guys come, I will be there. I promise. Because I don't have to get up at 3:00 in the morning anymore. But I promise. I think Guy Torrey is coming in a little bit, and
Sybil, you didn't come see us pre-pandemic.
No, because you guys were always there like on Thursday nights or something. I wanted to come on Thursday nights and I had to get up in the morning, but I promise I will. I'll be good this time. I promise.
Chris, we have to be in Casper, Wyoming. You know what that's about.
That was for the solstice. Yeah.
Solstice. That was for her birthday. Not that I remember, Sybil.
No, you remember everything. You do have a great memory for that kind of stuff. But it was I masked up and everything, and in Texas, some do, some don't. But it was good.
Did you have the mask on the whole entire show?
Yeah, I did. Okay. I did. I kept the mask on, and even in going up to people and saying hello, like Rudy Rush was there with him, and he looked. I was like, "Hey, it's me."
I look like civilized and forehead.
Big old forehead. Yes. So it was good, and they had good crowds. So I am going to come and support you guys, but it was socially distant. I was at a table by myself, and it was great. So it was a good time. All right, gentlemen. Coy, are you good? Did you have a good weekend?
I did have a good weekend. Once again, adulting is getting very serious, especially with owning a home and seeing how how can I save money by
You said
YouTubing these
adulting, right?
home
Adulting.
Yes.
Oh,
Not adultery.
all right. I heard that. Okay. All right.
Ooh,
Go ahead.
no.
Go ahead.
But yeah, we're just trying to figure
Buying
out
a home or breaking up a home? Which one is it? Or both?
No, buying, taking over ownership of the home that needs some repairs. It needs a little bit of love. It's not too bad, but I am learning the ins and outs of what it takes to do this, and it's a
You mean the
lot
doors?
The ins and outs.
Figure out the doors?
Yes.
Full open.
Or the toilet.
The sinks, all that stuff.
Thing,
Oh
right.
my gosh.
So,
But
Coy,
nonetheless,
are
a
these
good
things that
weekend.
have to be done before you can move in?
Yeah, some of these things definitely need to be done. Like there is no HVAC system. There's vents, but no heating, no AC, no thermostat. I'm just trying to figure out how my dad was there all this time. But older people from the older generation, they're like, "Oh, I'll be fine." They'll use fans and they'll use window
Or they spend a lot of
units
time
and
at
stuff
your
like that.
house.
Yeah, exactly. So no, that's something that definitely has to be done. There's some electrical work that needs to be done, and actually needs to be a new ceiling installed. So
Oh, wow. You got a lot to do within just a couple of weeks.
yeah. So
My grandfather used to sleep with an ice tray on his chest.
That was his air conditioner.
That was his air conditioner. That was his AC.
Wow.
Yeah.
All
Every
right,
morning
lady.
he woke up and thought he went to bed every morning.
I know, right?
Your grandma was like, I told you. I wake him up every couple hours. To
I
make sure
told
he
you I'm
goes.
not into that.
And now it's time for the topical discussion, things that are going on in our world. Let's check out. I don't know if you guys were traveling last night, if you saw the Emmys.
No, I did not see the Emmys. I was watching the Mahomies.
Okay.
Mahomies versus the Jacksons.
You were watching the Soul Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lamar Jackson, huh?
Yeah, I was rolling with Lamar until after the game when they said, "What was your mindset going into that last play?" He was like, "Well, Coach asked me if I want." Did this N-word just say "asked"?
What did he say?
Asked me if I wanted to go for it. I mean, you need to get the Pfizer shot in your tongue, Negro. He asked me if I wanted to go for it.
That's what you used to say about me, bro. You used to say, bro, you got a speech impediment? You talk with your foot in your mouth.
I have one of those kind of things that really get to me when people say texted.
Oh, that burns me up, Sybil.
You too?
That burns me up.
I'm like, it's text me.
Yeah.
But that was, but bless his heart, bless Lamar.
Is it? She might be talking about me because I might have said that.
That's exactly who the hell she. Oh, I can't say that. That's exactly who the heck she's talking about.
Now that somebody got the message. No, I'm kidding. All right. So last night at the Emmys, I was torn between two shows. First, the Emmys came on, and that was the 73rd Emmys, and it was hosted by our friend Cedric the Entertainer. Mm-hmm. Up against that was Uncensored on TV One, and that featured our girl Kim Whitley. Right. It was her uncensored story.
How was it?
It was really good. It was really good. She looks great. Her stories are always great. She has quite an entertaining and informative life. A lot going on in her life, and so it was really good. And a shout out to her and to our friend John Murray. John produced the episode, so it was really good.
That's great.
That's
great.
Yeah, it was
ahead,
really
John.
good.
Congratulations, John.
Exactly. So if you get a chance to check that out on TV One, please do. Uncensored with Kim Whitley. Definitely. So I go back to watching the Emmys, and the open was okay. It was kind of a kitschy kind of musical number. It was a Biz Markie song, and they were talking about television and
they're back to having an audience under the roof. One roof, right? No
but it was supposed to be like a tent like deal, Chris. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of concern about people being in what was what a lot of people complained was that it was enclosed. And so they promised that it was going to be open. But Seth Rogen came out right after they did the open. He's like, this is not what they promised me. All you people are sitting right next to each other and it's closed in. And they're like, oh boy, this is a great way to start the show.
Right.
But it wasn't that good. I love Cedric just to be Cedric. They tried to put him in a lot of bits and they were very dated. They even did one where Cedric was sending the Fly off to attack Pence during the vice presidential debate.
They had these jokes from last year during COVID. Like, we're going to use
No,
these jokes.
they didn't.
We paid for these jokes
at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. The most.
They didn't have a host. They didn't have a host last year, right? Weren't they just passing it like it was
right?
Like by Zoom. There was one person, the other. So, but I'm saying they probably hired some writers though.
Yeah.
And they already paid for these.
And
jokes.
they left those jokes, and
they
they're like, okay.
those jokes right there.
Right.
People know what we're talking about.
We don't care if you're doing. We don't care if you're doing 3 or 4 Monica Lewinsky jokes. You're gonna use these punchlines.
They know who she is.
Right.
They did that. They did the boat parade from Tampa after the Super Bowl with Brady tossing the trophy and Cedric out in the middle of the water in a little dinghy. It was that kind of stuff. The one that I did like was Cedric meeting all of his TV wives, and they were all there together with Terry J. Vaughn, with Niecy Nash, and Tashina Arnold.
Or Terry and
Vaughn,
yeah.
So that was a cute one, but it was, and I'm not even sure a lot of the white people got it, that he had 3 TV wives. But here's the really other thing. All of these Black people who were nominated, you guys,
not a one
in the acting category.
Wow.
But that's what they do when they get a Black host. Like it's like showing that we came up, but it's an illusion. Like if you have a Black presence on these shows, like a Black host and a bunch of Black presenters, it gives you the illusion that Black people have been in the Emmys all night long. Yeah, but we didn't win.
And they did. Reggie Hudlin was the producer. Cedric was the host, and I mean Black people for days presenting.
Like having the Koch brothers produce the NAACP awards. It was Black, right? Right. Exactly.
So once again, we're in the building working, but not being applauded.
Well, they were being applauded because these are the stars of these shows, but they did not get their due and just desserts.
They were seat fillers.
They were. There was a lot of that. Wow. But I do want to give kudos at Emmy So White to RuPaul, who made history at the Emmys, and that was because he became the first Black person to receive 11 Emmys.
He win an Emmy every year.
Yeah. Yep. And RuPaul's Drag Race. Yes. And so he said,
been running a long. That's been a long race, Sybil.
Okay. Okay. That's
11
a lot.
years?
That's a lot of dragging. So this is his 11th career win at the ceremony with RuPaul's Drag Race. Beat off the competition from The Masked Singer, Nailed It, Top Chef, The Voice to take outstanding competition program. So good for him. Good for him. And he, gave his love to all his children who watched the show, and also a shout out to people who are, finding their own truths in their bodies and their ways of living. And so that was really nice.
11 years of that show. So what happens to the people who win the show? Like, do they have careers? Like, is there anybody that's a name that we should know? Like,
that's a good question. Because those that were with him, I don't recognize them after they win. Yeah. So
every year it's a brand new race.
It's a new drag.
I mean, we can say the same thing about Tyra Banks' old show. I mean, other than what's the Eva, the sister who won the first time.
Yeah, Eva Marcel.
I don't know any other names from that show.
That's a good point too. Yeah. And we've had one like on the cruise. I don't remember if you remember, there was a young lady who did very well on the on Top Model, and she and her grandmother, I think, were there. But as a rule, you're right. You don't see those people. Same with with The Voice or with
Yes,
America's Got Talent.
we was talking about that. They make the host even larger. Like we didn't
Mhm.
know about Blake Shelton. Blake
Right.
Shelton was a household name. Like that show
Not
has
for us. Right.
propelled Blake
Yep.
Shelton. And now he's
Yep.
a household name.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly. Exactly
but
right.
But the talent.
Right. Again, exactly. That's the look.
The emoji.
Yeah, exactly. It's that emoji. Sadly, lady and gentlemen, we do have some deaths to announce. The first that came out this afternoon was that of Sarah Dash. You guys remember Sarah Dash from Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells?
No.
Sarah Dash was the singer and actress, first appeared as a member of Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells, and that was in the 60s. And so
I thought you first said Stacey Dash. I was about to say something real mean.
Bro, the fact that you even uttered that statement right there was mean, bro. You did just say something mean, bro.
Okay. She first appeared on the music scene as a member of Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells. And she's also worked as a singer, songwriter, and a session model. She worked with a lot of people, including LaBelle, the Rolling Stones, and Keith Richards. She was real. And so, unfortunately, she's had some health challenges and just celebrated her 76th birthday. And a month later, now we acknowledge her homegoing. So
I don't know her, but I will know about her. One of the great things, was actually beautiful things about like social media, depending on the people you follow. If you follow people who have sense,
they will.
You learn a lot. Like when people die, like when Michael K. Williams died, you read all the beautiful tributes people put on their Instagram and stuff, and you just learn so much about them.
Right.
And then I didn't know he was a dancer. I didn't know he danced for Madonna and everything. But
showing the videos and everything. Yeah.
But just reading what people who actually knew these people.
Yeah, you're right.
Say about them. It really is beautiful.
That's true. You're absolutely right.
Long if it's not 50 Cent.
I mean, yeah, right. I said if you follow people that got sense.
Not 50 cents.
Not 50 cents. Right. Bro, but 50 posted about Michael K. Williams was so bad, he took it down.
Yeah.
He took both of them down. He don't never take nothing down.
He doesn't. He stands by all of his nonsense.
Somebody said this is about to mess up your money.
Okay. You don't know how beloved this Negro is. So it's like, okay. And he did take it down. This also is a guy in your field, Chris and Huggy, Anthony Johnson. AJ the actor and comedian, died. This was really strange. Did you see the story on this?
I didn't see the story. I know he passed, but
okay, so apparently the death was announced on this day, but he died maybe at the beginning of the month, earlier in the month is what they say.
Whoa.
And his cousin found him in a store, and he was dead.
I did see that in the store.
He was dead.
How do you get found in a store? Like,
how does that happen?
I don't know.
And so they announced it, and 55 years old.
They found him in a store, Sybil?
They found him in a store. His cousin found him in a store.
Just reminds me of the scene in Friday. Good God.
It's eerily reminiscent for you?
Man, yes.
He passed away, and they took him. His cousin called the authorities, and he was pronounced dead at a hospital. He leaves a wife and 3 kids. Wow. And this Anthony Johnson was made his living, made his name in Friday from 95. Also appeared in House Party, Menace to Society, Lethal Weapon 3, The Players Club, and BAPS, and of course Martin and Malcolm and Eddie. And
I got the hookup.
Oh, we can't forget that one. Okay.
And we just watched that over the weekend. We just watched it over the weekend.
Wow.
In the world of comedy, AJ Johnson was he was like a people's champion. I mean, you can say it doesn't matter what mainstream Hollywood or whether they heard of him or not. Right. He was about the people, and the people loved this dude. I mean, and we talk about a time when like Master P was moving movies on VHS by the millions.
Right.
Yes.
Every barbershop, people walking in and selling Master P movies. This guy was the star.
He was the
comedic star of those films. Yeah, man. You can't. People loved him.
Wow.
I've done a couple of shows with. I've done a couple of shows.
Ezel. Yeah, that was the character. That was the character. All right. So 55 years old and RIP. All right. It is now time for what's really going on. I don't know if you all have, this happens a lot. But this particular missing white woman has taken missing white women to a whole nother level. This is the young woman who went on a nationwide tour with her fiance. This guy came back without her and just chilling at the house. And her parents are asking, where's our child? Where's our daughter? And he said, I don't know. And so this young woman, her name is Gabby Petito. And now, especially with social media, her face is everywhere. Where's Gabby? Have you seen Gabby? They were here. The last time we heard from her, she was here. And social media, I mean, you have like 200 million sleuths around the country looking for this young white woman. And this is what burns me up every time, because we have how many young Black and Hispanic young people who are missing, and we don't get any of this.
Right. Too many.
We have, I don't know if you remember, a few weeks ago, we had a young woman whose name was Diamond, and her, a friend of the show, she tweeted me and said, we're looking for this young woman. She's been missing in North Carolina. And so we put her picture up and gave her as much. So no, this isn't the young woman, but in Black and Missing, this is an organization that we have talked to in the years past on the Joyner Show. And Jackie Reed has done stories on them as well. But let me give you an example. These are two young people who are now missing over the last couple of weeks in the month of September. And Chica, I believe you gave us one. Her name is Guillory. Ashley Guillory. And she's been missing since the 4th of September from Houston, Texas. She is...
Look at that smile, y'all.
Last seen in Houston, and they said she was driving a black 2005 Toyota Camry.
I mean, look at that smile. Why aren't our stories and our people compelling? You have to put it out there for people. Yeah, I know people attach themselves to this white woman who's missing right now, who was missing. But I mean, because you guys turned her into a living person on the news, so people care about her. You have to show this woman's flyer on the national news. You have to show pictures of her with her family on the national news. Talk to people who know her on the national news, so she becomes a real person.
A member of your life, so that you want to champion.
It's got to be personal. You got to make it personal.
Right. That's why this white woman's story blew up.
Yeah,
I've heard from people that lost family members that were looking for them, that they go to the police, they go to the news stations, and they simply just don't take interest when it's a Black person that's missing, a Black woman, man, child.
And this is why it's so important, Coy, for us to have people who are in the news business, because they are the gatekeepers. They're the ones that can put these stories out there, that can make her come alive to folks, as it were, so that we become compelled. We become a part of the story, and we want to find her. We want to find this young woman and get her back with her family.
And they're Ashley, be high up top on the ladder of the news game, because I'm sure a lot of Black reporters have taken these stories, in the newsroom before, and they were like, nah.
Yep.
Nah.
But cities like Washington, D.C. or Houston, where they do have Blacks in the higher echelons of the news ladder, there are people out there, and they're trying, but we have got to make it as important to them as their stories have become to us.
There's a white woman missing for 4 years, and they kept covering her on the news. And I'm like, look, I know Melania Trump is the first lady. Come on.
Let me also give Chica, if you can give us that second picture. This is Elijah Elderkin. Elijah is 25 years old, from Providence, Rhode Island, a young Black man who is last seen on the 12th of September. Last seen by his roommate, believed to have left his home and driving his 1997 black Honda Accord bearing Rhode Island registration plates. An unknown. He has 2 stickers on the rear of his car bumper. One is a penguin and the other is the Apple logo. And that is Elijah Elderkin. We want to make this as important for the country as this young woman who now, has become so ingrained in the lives that, people, I always talk about falling down the internet rabbit hole. Sometimes you start on a story and you get so involved in it and you find yourself somewhere else. But that is what has happened with this young woman. Here's the thing. People were so upset about this young white woman, this Gabby, that people were gathering outside of the boyfriend's home.
And they found her last night, right?
They believe they
found her body.
They believe that.
But that's so crazy about though the black woman you just showed and the black male you just showed. For Gabby, we all know damn well who did this.
Yeah.
We know who
Too
did
obvious.
it. It's him. But
Right.
when black people go missing,
Yep.
it could be spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, or they could have got just snatched up by some racists. I mean, how many times we've turned around over the past couple of years and seen black men just hanging and the police ruled it a hanging, and their families like, there's no way he would go out here to the woods and hang himself.
Right.
We don't know what it is when we're missing.
Right.
Here's
was it
another
something
thing.
from a personal relationship, or was it just some of these racists out here causing them harm?
Yeah.
Right.
What were you saying, Coy?
Here's another thing. We've seen recently in the Atlanta area a few different young women that have gone missing, high school age, preteen age, and they were found, fortunately. But after they're found, the family doesn't disclose what happens. I understand that is a tough situation to go through. I also feel like some of this information needs to be disclosed so we can tell other young women, preteens, teenagers, hey, if you see this go on, then understand that this is the type of situation it can turn into, and this is what you need to do to protect yourself. Right. That's another thing that we have a habit of doing in the Black community, just kind of glossing over certain things once we see stuff is okay. But we need to understand the how and the why that this happens so it can be avoided.
Listen to these numbers. The FBI's National Crime Information Center, they have a database that lists over 400,000 missing children under the age of 18. This was in 2018. The most recent year for the data available, about 37% of those children are Black. And Black children make up 14% of all the children in the United States. So we're talking 2.5 times more than we represent as a people, than they represent as a demographic. They say that it's harder to say how many Hispanic kids are missing. And the groups of white and Hispanic children, so they group the white and Hispanic kids together based on the reports. 20% of missing children are Hispanic or Latino. And they say that, families are hesitant to call police in some cases, but those cases when families are calling, the police have got to pay attention. They have got to, and that's when they go to the television stations and say, have you, can you help us? And they say, oh yeah, we'll help you, and they don't, help that way. Who do we have on Facebook there, Chris?
Michael Stallworth.
Michael Stallworth. What's up, Mike?
The man with numbers.
He says personal relationship disappearances have more often than realized, especially amongst Black Americans. So yeah, it is personal relationship disappearances. But I'll always retweet on Twitter when I see a young Black person or any young person of any race that's missing. I always retweet it, and then it's always good when you come across an update and they've been found. Right. But I still feel as though the parents deserve to post video of the ass whipping that they got.
Because now you're so involved. You
300,000 people retweeting this because you didn't come home from school.
Right.
And you was mad at me.
And you got scared. So then you decided to stay at your friend's house, and your friend's parents weren't, communicating. And that's how it happens.
Maybe that's just it. I mean, I can't imagine as a 8 or 10-year-old me just not coming home. I'm like, if I didn't come home, then I'm never coming home.
Right.
That's the kind of fear I had, man.
Yeah.
You just never know what's going on. I actually had a cousin that ran away from home for different reasons, just different things going on, and didn't see her again until she was well overgrown.
Mm.
So you just really just don't know.
So did she say, Coy? Did you ever get the story?
Somewhat of it, and I know it's still something that's a little difficult. We have talked about it, but I was more so happy that she was okay. She did tell me what she had going on in between that time, and she ended up, starting a family and what have you, and did get into some questionable things. So you do have to realize sometimes when it's younger people, and not to say that this happened to my cousin, because it didn't, but we have covered stories like this in the What You Need to Know newsletter with groups of children going missing, and then they end up somehow sex trafficked.
Yeah. And that's another fear that people have. And I was like, well, they
because they're vulnerable.
And a lot of them, come from foster homes or whatever. And so they, say these are just runaways. And how can you say they're missing if they were trying to get away from their foster homes and what have you? This is one of my greatest fears growing up as a kid, was being kidnapped, because that's when they started really reporting the rash of kidnappings and things like that. And my greatest fear, I don't know how or this ever happened, but I used to have a reoccurring dream that I was being kidnapped by a white man driving a Chinese laundry truck. And so I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would go into my parents' room. My dad's like, "You had the dream again?" And I was like, "Yes." And so he's like, "Little girl, no white man is driving a Chinese laundry truck, first of all. And he certainly is not coming for you. Now get your ass back on in there to bed." But that was like,
you had very intelligent dreams like this.
Why was I dreaming about a white man driving a Chinese laundry truck?
But then if it happened to you, no one's going to believe you. She's making this shit up. I mean, stuff up.
Too late. You don't
Please
step
edit
in
that,
it.
But you know what, real quick, I think they need to get rid of that whole blanket policy as far as missing people. What is it, like 48 hours?
Yeah.
It could be too late. I mean, it's got to be a case. I know a lot of people call in about missing people, but you got to have resources of people who at least will talk to them, talk to the parents.
And we're in the age of social media, so everything's supposed to be.
In 48 hours, that young person, whoever took that young person, could be long gone.
Yeah. Right. Even a day, even saying 24 hours, it's way too long. Right. But you're right. We can use our social media to our advantage.
And celebrities need to use their status as well to bring awareness to it.
Exactly.
Kyra Harris said, "Trust us, Auntie Sybil. He was going to give you back."
Oh my God!
As soon as you finish, Sybil, as soon as you finish folding that laundry, he was letting you go.
Why are you reading that?
You tell me about it.
Oh my!
I don't want to hear about the news. I don't care.
I need to see if anybody's looking for me. Nobody's looking.
What is your address? I'm taking you now. I always tell my nieces and nephews, don't run that far ahead of me. This ain't the 80s. They'll snatch you.
Yeah.
I mean, do it no more.
Just think about that. And you can't have them on a leash either, because people get mad about that. Honestly.
Right.
Tyra, thank you for that on Facebook. Yeah, you're probably right. They would have sent my behind back. You're absolutely right.
You went there, yeah.
All right.
What do you mean? Can I get a cigarette?
It's now time for us to take a look at the What You Need to Know newsletter. As you know, this is something that we work very hard on every day. And it really is. It's 7 days a week. But we have 5 newsletters a week, Monday through Friday morning. It'll be in your email box. It's absolutely free, the subscription. So please go to SybilWilkes.com.
Real early, too, Sybil. Real early.
My email, 6:33 a.m. is when it came.
That thing hit quicker than your direct deposit.
Right. 6:33 a.m.
That's it. That's what our friend Ahmed Gordon in the morning. That's right. So, Coy, you're up first, and let's talk about your story about this video of the U.S. Marshal hitting a handcuffed black man, duking him up in the face.
Dang, man, this happened. Oh, one of my favorite places too, Jackson, Mississippi.
All right,
Dang
go
it.
J State.
Yes, JSU, who's doing great. Shout out to Coach Deion Sanders. And no, he's not going to any other school, so y'all stop asking. But anyway, so
was anybody asking?
I guess you've
Yes.
never seen his old rap videos, have you? when he said it's about the money,
Must be the money.
He meant that.
He meant it. No,
meant
there are
that.
other schools that are questioning him coming to another school now that Jackson State has. I mean, they've already had a great record, but he has helped tremendously improve the football program and has brought a lot of attention to a Black school, which is what they deserve. And it's just so crazy. Like, why are you asking about our coach and where he may be going? Let us have our coach. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's a long way from the days of Walter Payton. You're absolutely right.
exactly. So there's
Sweetness.
video that was caught by a neighbor's Ring doorbell camera of U.S. Marshals leading this Black man outside, handcuffed. And as soon as he gets outside, a marshal hits him in the face. Bow! And the guy gets dragged a little bit by the other marshal, falls to the ground. And he's like, oh my God, like, why are you doing that to my face? In the background of the video, if you look really closely, there's looks like another Black man that's arrested, and they're tossing him on the ground, kicking him over and stuff. Like, it's a lot going on in this video. So the U.S. Marshals, they have said that they're aware of this incident.
Oh, they're aware.
Kind of. And that they're going to investigate. And this also comes after an incident, for lack of better words, that happened in June 2021 in Minneapolis, involving U.S. Marshals who shot and killed Winston Boogie Smith Jr. And it was reported that he fired a gun at the U.S. Marshals, and that's why they surrounded the car and shot him. But the woman inside the car says that never happened. Right. And so there's been no developments in that case as far as I've seen. The only thing that has happened is that particular task force has been pulled until body cameras are fully worn by all U.S. Marshals who were supposed to have them on during this incident in June and didn't for some reason.
Yeah, right. Coy, you do a lot of stories like this. Does it ever become too much for you?
Sometimes it bugs me because I don't know how to conclude on this. Like, how many more times do I have to keep saying, like, where does it end? Like, if there's a white man that can be apprehended after he just shot up a church of Black people, after he just shot up multiple spas and killed innocent people, if these people can be arrested and apprehended without incident
and taken to restaurants
and get a burger,
refreshments, all that stuff. Right. This type of treatment should apply across the board with everyone, despite how you feel about these people personally. It's not something that's hard to do. These aren't tactics that are written down as rule or law for any law enforcement agency. These people just allow for their emotions or whatever to kick in, and their hate
to kick in,
and they exercise it on somebody that's helpless,
handcuffed.
And defenseless. Right? You already can't do anything. And I mean, even if you flinch too hard, they're going to charge you with resisting arrest, striking an officer, assaulting an officer. We see it happen all the time. I've noticed this happening on the old TV shows at Cops. Where people are getting beat up. And
so, Coy, do you remember the story you did not too long ago about the man who was in the car and the cop kept banging the door against his head in the car? You know, it's like, what possesses that kind of evil action? What is it? And the fact that they think they're going to get away with it.
Well, I mean,
and they're on camera.
The police officers see a white person who is a serial killer or mass murderer as a human being. They're still a human being. But if they never saw us as human before we committed the crime.
Right. You're right, Chris.
So then there's nothing for you to rough somebody up kick somebody in the face, or you don't have any compassion for them as a human being.
Even the murder's mug shots and the backstory, it's like he was going through some stuff.
He was having a really bad day.
A really bad day.
His psychiatrist said it was only a matter of time before he had
always
a
an
breakdown.
excuse.
The murder in Atlanta, the alleged murder of the spy murders.
No, he did that.
The cop said he was having a really bad day.
I mean, think about how bad it is. It's so bad that in this day of body cams and social media and camera phones, they still and Ring videos, they still can't stop themselves. I mean, your entire livelihood is on the line. Possible jail time, as we see now, is possible for a police officer. Now, you still can't stop yourself from punching the guy in the face, from slamming the guy's head on a car door. You just that's a problem. That's like an addiction.
Right.
It is. Sounds like the people that used to get beat up in school, and now they have
they used to say
it's like the cheaters that have the secret cam in the back of Maury Povich. They put the girl in the back of the room, and she all dressed seductively, and this guy's known for cheating, and they had that camera on him.
And he knows damn well no woman that good looking has ever talked to him in at all.
Right?
And she's right there. You know she's a plant. You know she's a plant.
But he can't stop himself.
He can't stop himself.
It's unbelievable. I swear. Another story that unless you wanted to add something to that, Coy, or you wanted to add to that story, you're good?
Just effing stop it.
Really? All right. Well,
that's going to have to happen within the police.
Right.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about what's happening in the border of Texas, between Texas, Del Rio, Texas, and Mexico. The thousands of Haitians who have been trying to get into this country to seek asylum. This isn't a new story in terms of them coming to America to seek asylum, but the thousands that have come over a period of days, and seeing the pictures of them all lined up under a bridge. It's called the Del Rio International Bridge. And as of this past weekend, there were some 12 to 15,000 Haitians, the majority of them Haitians, lined under this bridge. Now, the city that they found themselves in, this border city, Del Rio, Texas, they have a total population of maybe 35,000. 15,000 additional people there trying to get into the country, and it's just overwhelmed the city. And now we are looking at them being flown back to Haiti. But here's the thing: a lot of these people haven't been in Haiti for years. Wow. According to the stories, they left Haiti sometime after the 2010 earthquake. Wow. And many of them tried to find lives to make a living in South and Central American countries. And what they found was a lot of racism, poor economies, and inability to find jobs. And so then, as they heard that things were getting better in the United States as a result of when we thought that we were past the pandemic, they started making their way towards the United States and coming in from other countries. And now they've made it. And as other people have already come in and tried to seek asylum, now they're being turned around. So much turned around that the Biden administration is flying them back to Port-au-Prince. And a lot of these people haven't been there in years. They're being returned to a country that's now foreign to them. Their babies have been born in other countries. Babies have been born while they were waiting to get into this country. And the worst of it, it's bad enough that they are, lined up, and it's Texas in the summertime. So we're talking triple digit temperatures. The worst of it is they brought in a lot of the state troopers. These cats, maybe they're Texas Rangers, I'm not sure, but they brought them in on horses. Yeah. And they were going out to capture the Haitians as they were trying to come in. And with whips and with other cords, they were trying to stop them.
actually riding around on horseback, whipping black men and black women.
And black women.
Wow.
This is America.
2020. Oh my gosh.
This is America. And Joe Biden, you can't tell us about building back better when black people are running for their lives.
I read something about because people were saying, Joe Biden, what are you doing about this? I read something about how the problem is the Border Patrol has been already granted immunity where they can't be prosecuted for anything. Like the police. You can tell them to stop whipping them, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. But if they don't, you can't fire them.
That's
it. You can't prosecute any of them. They can can do whatever
so
they want to do.
They're above the law.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, if these Haitians could just get to Cowboy Stadium, nobody gets whipped there. They could just make it to Dallas.
Bravo. It could just come up 30. And you know.
I'm like, you guys are such bullies. I said to my wife, I said, do you know how bad the situation must be for these black people and for these Latinos to want to come in this country? We're horrible.
Yeah.
We're a horrible freaking country. We ride around on horseback and whip people who need help. We turn people away at the border and oh my God, that's how bad it is where they are. And this is still where they'd rather be.
They'd rather be here.
We're not saying all of us. Of course, a lot of us are beautiful.
It needs to be broadcast and spotlight. It need to be a spotlight on that. It need to be camera on that. You know.
But Huggy, think about this. The years that the babies were when it was Hispanics coming over, the babies that were in the cages and all of this. I was like, this can't happen. This is not, and it continued.
Right. I didn't see the evening news tonight, but please, I hope Lester Holt and whoever else and whoever's going to be on CNN or MSNBC tonight, I hope they're showing the pictures. Of the Border Patrol on horseback whipping Haitians.
Yeah.
Or else it just goes away.
Right. Chica, do we have that picture? I'm not sure if we have one. But it's horrific.
Wow.
I don't know if you can see that, Huggy, but that you can see that the man trying to and they said, people falling and trying to avoid the whip, and then that's how they catch him. And
what's up with his boy running away? You can't help. You're not gonna help your boy.
It's like, partner.
The two of y'all together, pull his ass off that horse.
Okay. And then
get that whip.
The one thing I was going to say that the one thing I hope people understand, and I've been seeing a lot of conversations on Instagram and Twitter because a lot of people think that they're experts on this subject. A lot of people are blaming the Biden administration for what's going on with Haitians being deported. And I want people to understand this is not a Biden administration issue. This has been a U.S. government issue since the late 1970s.
But here's the problem, Coy, and you're absolutely right. But the problem is his name is at the top. And so, and because this Republican state so hates the whole immigration issue and what bringing all these black people and brown people into this country, you're not going to hear about the horrific conditions that were there during the Trump administration. You're not going to hear, and what you're going to hear is where's Kamala Harris and how quickly do we get rid of these people? And talking about what they talked about over the weekend, they're talking about white replacement theory. This is their greatest fear, is that the more black and brown people come into this country, they're made citizens, and then they'll thrive and multiply.
That's the tuck 'em talking points.
Yep.
Tuck 'em as a joke.
Yep. And exactly, Mr. Fox News, as well as the woman who is the third highest ranking Republican in the U.S. House, Stefanik, and the ignorant lieutenant governor of Texas, Dan Patrick. And they're all talking the same language. They're all spewing the same lies and talking about the fact that they are trying to keep black and brown people out of this country so that they will not be allowed to register to vote and vote them out of existence.
Just look up the numbers of deportations over the years. You can look up the exact number breakdown for each country, for each race of people, and you will be alarmed at how many you see that are Black immigrants that are deported, and not just now, like from years past leading up to now. A lot of people don't understand, like, these people that come in here on boats, rafts that they homemade, and then they're
Or
landing
just
in Texas, they're landing in Florida.
they're not. But here's the other thing: they're not coming on rafts. They're walking across.
They're doing that
countries.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
They get in here in so many different ways, and it's sad.
One other thing I do want to mention, take a look at the story about Dr. Cyan Proctor. She was the mission specialist. She was the pilot on the latest spacecraft that went up by a billionaire. This is an Elon Musk project. And this sister was the first Black woman to pilot a spacecraft and only the fourth Black woman to go into space. So check out her story. It's now time for us.
She made all the passengers chip in for gas money. Did you know that?
That's the way we got to do it.
Why we can't see her picture on the news? we can see a Black woman with a bonnet board the Spirit Airlines.
No, she said no pictures, bro. You know, gravity. Black woman's hair with no gravity. She was like, no pictures, no pictures.
It's now time to take a look at Yogi's Jewels, and then we have a very special bit of entertainment for you. Yogi Jewels today. Sometimes you might have to forget how you feel and remember how much you are worth. Forget how you feel and remember your worth. Take that with you. All right. We're closing out today with a member of our What You Need to Know family. Our other social justice activist is Quinn Riley Townsend, and she has a spoken poetry album that has dropped. Oh, wow. And we'd like to, And I'm Worthy is the name of it. And so we are going to close out with a little bit of that today and hope that you will enjoy it and know that it is dropping. It has dropped. And She Worthy. I'm sorry. And She Worthy. And it is available on Apple Music, Spotify, and Tidal. Take a listen to this and thank you all. See ya.
Bye.
I am denouncing my Black girl magic. Because it is blessing and burden, holy and sacrificial. At any moment, I could disappear and no one would come looking for me. I could die in a cell, but the trick is I did not kill myself. I can make you think that I'm fine and healthy when my body has been kidnapped for sex cults. People think that my blood shines, that my bruises sparkle. My body has been poked, prodded, procured to find reason for my very extraterrestrial existence. My body has been raped, robbed, run through, run over like railroad track. Henrietta lacked mouth, more hole than heaven, breasts, more toy than nutrients, thighs, more alleyway than guarded gate. I hate being told that I have Black girl magic. Because I could stand here, decomposing in front of all of you, but you wouldn't believe me because Black girls don't cry, we don't die, we are magic. A lie that I have swallowed. A lie that I'm tired of carrying on my back. Tired of being raped and no one acknowledging my pain. Tired of dying and no one saying my name. You too, while listening to this poem, still don't see me. You just see a Black girl miraculously enchanting. So when I cry, it's a spectacle. When I die, it's sacrificial. How many more of our bodies must be buried for you recognize that we are real? When Corinne Gaines was shot in front of her son, it wasn't glitter that oozed out of her body. It was blood. Sandra Bland did not disappear. She was murdered. Jessica Savage is not okay. And to this day, there are still 219 Nigerian girls missing. Black women are not superheroes in capes, invincible to pain. We have simply adapted to our chains of menstrual, and men and their cycles. Behind every strong Black man is a Black woman that he used for practice. Black women are like stars, dying, combustible, balls of flame. Please say our name. What use is having this magic if everyone is using it but me, Shalina Lyles, Rakia Boyd, Natasha McKenna, Maya Hall, Sandra Bland, Corinne Gaines, Micaiah Bryant, Breonna Taylor. I promise you, I can die just like you. I can cry just like you. Bend my back, loan my dignity to you. Black girl, been mother before she was child. Black girl been muse. Black girl been tool. What was wings on my back are now just swollen welts. Spells are simply prayers. My blood doesn't sparkle, but no one cares as long as there's a show.